Just like any investment that you have in your life, whether that be real estate, whether that be stocks, you must research it significantly. In your lifetime, you do not need a lot of good investments. You just need a few high quality investments that you have chosen to invest in. For me, one of those is Tesla. Hey guys, it's Omar Khan here, and I want to go over with you today why exactly did I buy a Tesla? Well, when I invest, I like to use the products and services of the company I'm investing in. Pretty straightforward, okay? So I'll tell you exactly what I do and why I wound up buying a Tesla and why this Tesla is going to make me, I think, a lot of money, all right? Now, first step is I look around with my eyes. I see what is happening in the world. And I look around and you start seeing more and more electric cars on the road every day. It's not rocket science. You see them everywhere, okay? And you also notice, wait a second, the vast majority of these are Teslas. Okay, now you've got that done. All right, then you start doing a bit more homework. You start saying, well, if cost of gas is super high, and I think a lot of people are going to move to electric, and a lot of them are moving to Tesla, why don't I take a look at to see if there's a savings, if this makes sense, if this makes financial sense, and then I can see if a lot of people are going to move that direction. So first thing first, you look at what does a Tesla cost? What does an electric car cost? You start doing some analysis work. Whenever we invest in a company, whenever I invest in a company, I do a thorough amount of research and homework and investigation, okay? So now you start doing a bit of research, you start figuring, okay, Teslas clearly are cheaper to operate, although they cost more, but they're cheaper to operate. And you start saying, okay, this might be something here. Maybe I'll look into this further. Okay. Now you start looking at the financial statements of the company. So 4 times a year, every company that is publicly traded has to release their financial statements. It is like a report card. How did they do? How much money did they make? What was their cost of goods sold? What was their margins? Now that is all in the financial statement. Now there's a call after the financial statements, which will give you something called guidance. And so what does this company expect going forward? That gives you a really good idea as to what they're going to do. Now, Tesla has something called a Part 1 master plan and a Part 2. Now, I read this, of course, a long time ago, and it made me really, really excited about this company after I figured out exactly the first few steps, which is, okay, I think a lot of people are going to move to electric. I start reading the financial statements. I'm starting to get really excited now. Now I'm starting to say to myself, hey, I'm onto something here. This may be an investment I really, really want to look at. Okay, now what is the next step from there? So you've done your homework, you've started looking around with your eyes, you're seeing a lot more electric cars. Great. You start uncovering some of the financial statements and you start getting more excited. You're like, wow, they're making a lot of money, they're selling a lot of cars. I'm excited. Now, none of this is meant to be financial advice. It's simply showing you our process, my process, when I'm looking to invest in a company. Okay, so you've done that. Financial statements done, eye test done, all good. All right, now we move to the next stage. Now you have to ask yourself, do I want to invest in a Tesla so I truly understand how this company and this vehicle works? That's one choice. Now, not everyone I understand can afford it. I totally get that part. When I first started investing, I had absolutely no money, none. So I totally know what it's like. Now, when you first start investing and you don't have any money, what can you do? Well, you can do a lot of other things. You can go to a supercharger. You can talk to people all day about how things are going. I wouldn't recommend talking to people all day long, but just keep your eyes open and your ears open. Ask around, ask your buddies. Hey, is someone buying a Tesla? Your parents, your brother, your sister, and you start seeing a trend. Because I can tell you personally, when I really started looking at the company, I saw a lot of other people buying a Tesla, and that piqued my interest. So ask around. Now you've asked around, you start seeing a lot of people are buying electrics. Okay. Now I want to look at going to a supercharger, speaking to some owners, ask them the pros. What do you like about this? What don't you like about it? Ask them all the tough questions. Now you've done all that stuff. For me personally, what I did was I went out and I bought a Tesla. If I'm going to invest a lot of money in this company, and I've already done my homework and I'm very excited about the company, what better way for me to understand this company than to buy one? So I went out and I bought myself a Tesla. Okay, when you buy one, there's a certain things that you realize that you will never ever realize from looking at a financial statement. Okay, You get real life application in terms of how far this car will go, what it really costs to operate, maintenance schedule. You'll know what it's like to get your servicing done, right? Servicing Tesla, they come to you. You don't go to them, which is great. Love that. Huge time saver. And time is the most valuable commodity to all of us. We have a limited amount of time. We have unlimited amounts of other things. Time is the most valuable commodity. So one of the things I love most about my Tesla is the fact that the servicing is done at home. And there is very, very little servicing to be done. There are no oil changes. There are no real major maintenance issues. I'm told I have to change the brakes every 200,000 kilometers or about 30,000 miles for all of you non-metric people out there. Long ways. No major service intervals before then. And that is a major plus. Now, how are you going to figure that out from a financial statement? You can't. You look at the total cost to operate the car on a monthly basis. Just do your regular driving. You're like, for me personally, I save about $400 a month in gas that I normally would have paid. Right? I'm doing, in my opinion, the planet some good. I'm getting to understand the company very, very well. I'm saving $400 a month. So far, so good. Now I start seeing a few other things about the car. I notice there's a cool factor to it, right? Pull up to my kid's school, there's a cool factor. Now, I am a very cool guy normally. However, if you get that extra cool factor, it's quite nice to roll up to your kid's school and have that cool factor. So that's a very nice thing to have. So you got the cool factor, you got efficiency, you're saving a bunch of cash. And I've also noticed this car is not depreciating very much. Why? Because I realized that a normal car kind of breaks down after about 100,000, 125, 150. Things start going wrong because there are so many components to break down. And when you look at an electric car, you have a battery and you have two electric motors. That's the main things that you have. So you start to realize, wow, there's a lot less things to break down. And I have a major warranty for the battery. And I'm not really concerned about anything breaking down. So the longevity of the car, the length that it will last for, in my opinion, is much longer than a traditional internal combustion engine vehicle. Why? There's less components to break down. After 150,000 kilometers, you're not going to have to change your spark plugs and your timing belt and, your water pump and whatever else. I'm not a car expert, but whatever else is in there. There's all kinds of things in there that there's always going wrong, and you're just getting more and more irritated as to all the money that you have to shell out to pay for this stuff. And not to mention the time that you are investing, dropping your car off the dealership, or they're picking you up and giving you a loaner. These are all things that I love not having to deal with ever again. So I started asking myself, am I the only one who feels this way? No, I'm not. So you start doing even more homework, right? You start looking into the company's financials, like I said, start looking around with your eyes, start talking to the owners of those of cars, ask investors in the company, what do you think of this company? What do you think of the future directions of the company? Read the master plans. Just like any investment that you have in your life, whether that be real estate, whether that be stocks, you must research it significantly. In your lifetime, you do not need a lot of good investments. You just need a few high-quality investments that you have chosen to invest in. For me, one of those is Tesla. And my homework process is very, very, very thorough, in my opinion. I've done hundreds of hours of homework on the company itself. I've owned the car now for about 8 months. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been the best vehicle that I've ever owned, and I've owned some really, really nice cars. But I love all the things about my Tesla in terms of, reliability, quality. The sound system is fantastic. Autopilot. And the list goes on and on and on. The efficiency, not paying for gas, not having to worry about maintenance, no more time wasted. It goes on and on and on. I start thinking to myself, I'm not the only one here. The whole world is going to move to electric. Now, that's not going to be immediate, but a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how much of the world will move to electric? In my opinion, it'll be a significant amount of people who will move to electric. Now, what portion of that market share will Tesla grab? I think it'll be a decent amount. You only get to know these things when you do a thorough amount of homework. So in short, guys, that is why I bought a Tesla. It is a hell of a car, best car I've ever owned, most efficient, beautiful, absolutely love this vehicle. I even bought my wife one. That's how much we really love Teslas because, I'm really looking forward to getting off the grid. God forbid one day there's an energy problem down the road, I'm off the grid because I have solar. I love the fact that I'm not, I'm contributing positively in the planet. I love the mission statement of the company to transition the world to renewable energy. And that's a mission statement I want to get behind. I want to get my kids behind. Now, getting on to one point, I understand not everybody can afford to invest in a Tesla. I understand that. When I first started investing, I started with $0. I couldn't afford to invest in a toy Tesla, quite frankly, back then. But you start to learn things over time, and you will eventually get more money in your life. But what you want to do ahead of time is make sure your investment skills, your knowledge is top notch. Because if it's top notch and then you get a bit of money, then you know exactly what to do with it. And I always go back to this thing, and I look at professional athletes, and I look at lottery winners, and you see what proportion of those people actually go broke. It's mind-boggling. And why do they go broke? Well, they go broke because they were financially illiterate to begin with. So financial literacy is a major tool, and learning how to invest is a component of financial literacy. So when I invest in a company like Tesla, like Apple here, I like to use the products and services of the companies I invest in. Why? Because there are certain things that you will never learn from a financial statement, that you will only learn by either owning or speaking to owners. And that's fine. If you don't have the money to afford that product and service, no problem. That's when you go and you just hang around. Let's say at Tesla, you go hang around a supercharger. Go talk to people. Ask them what their experience is like. Talk to owners. If you have an Android, you're looking to invest in an Apple, and you don't want to spend the extra money, you can't afford it. There's nothing wrong with that. But find out, do your research on the company, right? When I wanted to invest in Apple, I bought every product and service, and I really thoroughly researched the company, looked at their ecosystem. And the reverse has happened too, where I've looked at companies and I bought every article of clothing from Lululemon, but it made me realize it's a company that I don't want to invest in. Now, this is one of the main components that I like to use when I invest in a company. Now, going back to this Tesla example, done my homework thoroughly. I think the market is going to grow tremendously. I bought a Tesla, and now I'm going to sit back and wait for my thesis to play out, right? If you want to learn more about our strategy, how we make a lot of money simply for agreeing to buy Tesla every single month, send us an email at support@thetatradingco.com. And if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe for our newest videos, and we look forward to seeing the next one. Until next time, take care. Omar Khan.